Call the cops too.
Going to call this meeting to order. Dennis, can you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Richard.
Here.
Adrian. Here. Juanita.
Here.
Ernie. Here. Approval of minutes from regular meeting held on December 18, 2019.
Make a motion to approve minutes from the regular meeting held on December 18th.
I second that.
I have a motion by Adrian, a second by Juanita to approve minutes from meeting held on December 18, 2018. Roll call, Richard.
4.
Adrian.
Or
Juanita. 4. Ernie. 4. Motion passes. Approval of tonight's agenda for January 8, 2019.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for January 8th, 2019.
I'll second.
A motion by Richard, a second by Adrian for the approval of tonight's agenda, January 8, 2019. Roll call, Richard.
4.
Adrian. 4. Juanita.
4.
Ernie. 4. Approval of voucher list for the month of December 2018.
Make a motion to approve the voucher list for the month of December 2018.
I second that.
I have a motion by Adrian, a second by Juanita to approve the voucher list for December of 2018. Roll call, Richard.
4.
Adrian.
Or
Juanita.
4.
Ernie. 4. All right, moving on. First item, approval of replacement of turbo on the dump truck. This is a review of the quotes from Summit Truck Group for the replacement of the turbo. The quote is for $2,404.
And just FYI, the second thing from Summit is not it's just what the invoice was. The details spells out all that they did to it just recently.
That's the amount we paid for last time.
Yeah, this is what we paid, this is what we're doing. This, it just kind of itemizes everything they did to it.
How did it drive, Daniel? On the way back?
It did pretty good. It opened up. We did at least 65 on the highway and all that. He said it drove fine, and we used it last Friday too, and it worked. So far so good.
so, do you think they messed up something else for the wiring on that? For the
I don't know, cause we took when we had it here, it was working, and we brought it back, and we can't. The wiring for the plow don't want to work. So that's why it wasn't out for the snow days. We're trying to figure out how to get it work, but we still can't get it. So
but we're not sure if it was them.
yeah, we don't know if it was them or what. So,
So this amount is just for the turbo?
yeah.
Yeah, so basically the 1841 is what we paid for the last time. That's for the repair of the truck itself. And then you guys wanted the quote for the turbo, which was the $3,477, which is good, I believe, because you guys mentioned that it was over 5,000 last time. So I mean, it's not decent. But in receiving the dump truck back, it does not connect to the plow now. Like it connects with the wires anymore.
Was it working before?
Yeah, it was waiting for.
We mentioned that, we called it. One was working before, not now.
I didn't know it was.
We could go down. That's what we're trying to do all that day, and get it going and check all the fuses, everything.
So if we approve this, can they get it in right away, or?
I think so. I could call them and see how fast they can do it.
back and then, so, that we, taking it back, just so you guys know, we don't have maintenance for a day, public works for a day. Those two people would have to take it back.
Yeah.
To bring the other one back, and then the one person on call would be for the wells
Yeah.
that day. So there would be one person on, just so you guys are aware of that. Just so
Would
you
it
know.
take all day?
No, it wouldn't take all day, it would be like morning, just so you know. I just don't want you, you know,
I feel that if we're gonna pay this amount, since we have it there, look, what's the matter with the fuse for the plow? Because it looks like we're taking the truck, bringing it, taking it back.
Could the guys come in early and take it in, or just so we have them back?
how early.
Well, I don't know, what time it opens, whatever it opens, to get there by opening time
Oh
anyway.
yeah, 7:30, just take off right away.
Yeah. They open at 8, and leave at 30.
Do we have, would we have to take the plow? Probably, right?
Why I have to take everything
So
attached
that
to
way
it,
they
to
can
make
see
sure.
like what's going on,
Yeah.
or?
But you can't lift the plow, right? 'Cause
Nothing, oh yeah, we can't even hook it up.
So you can't.
We could get the things locked in, but to raise it and to lock in place, we can't get it to go.
So the
It's all
plow's
the truck.
attached to it now?
No, it's off. We were trying to hook it up last Thursday to get it ready for the storm on Friday, and we couldn't get it to go on. So that's why the truck wasn't out for those days.
You can use the front end loader just to, and put it in the back?
Yeah, but then how do you, are they gonna have everything over there to take it out and put it on?
Exactly.
But, what if you pick up the plow with the front end loader,
And just lock it in place.
loosen the hose, lift it up, that way you open up that cylinder,
Hydraulic.
and then tighten it up, and then they'll go and you should stay there,
Yeah, try that.
try and see what happens.
Don't hurt you,
Because
right?
I would think they would need the
The plow to
plow
plow
actually
it.
hooked up so they can,
Mhm. Yeah, we could try that.
So, this turbo is a replace. So it's a complete replace, it's not a repair.
This is the second time you're fixing it?
First one.
Well, the first time with that turbo, so we had contracted them before to fix, other issues with it. It wouldn't start, things like that. Once it started, then they said that the turbo was bad. So, then council wanted a quote of it, getting the turbo fixed.
and right now it's actually working, the
Yeah.
turbo.
Truck, everything's running, like I said, we used it last Friday, worked fine. So far it starts and everything, so. Runs.
What's your thought process on this, Richard? Because I mean, I don't really know much about this, I'm gonna be honest, I know nothing about this. And I don't know, I mean, if it, I just worry that we're spending $3,400 on something that's, I don't know.
Well, like I said before, ever since we got the truck, we had that one problem, and when he would sit for a while, we had that, but you give it that high RPM or whatever, and then suddenly it would free, and then it worked ever since. But if you leave it parked for, a few days, it would do the same thing. And we're told by a mechanic in Albuquerque that those particular turbos, they get condensation on the shaft, and it doesn't make them fins or whatever it's got in there to work. So that's what we would do, and we always worked, and of course, at the time, we did mention, and they said that there wasn't the monies to fix it. But, I mean, I don't know, I just feel that for right now, like being that it's winter and stuff, maybe, maybe we should try and keep it around, but we do have to check into that electrical deal.
Mhm.
What year is this truck?
2005.
I feel like Richard said, if it's working now and they need it for the winter, I think we need to look at that plow because we need the plow now.
Is it easy to take the down tube off to get to the prop on the on the turbo?
That's all right there. You can
So you can remove the hose and you can just reach in there and try to spin it by hand
Yeah. Oh,
to
yeah.
see if it's free?
Yeah,
Cause if it's free, there should be no reason that it wouldn't work.
yeah, that's true.
But right now it's working. so
Yeah, it's, like I said, right now it's working
It's usually when you park it for a while, don't drive it for a few
for,
days,
yeah.
you'll freeze up.
But
But you give it the high RPM and then after that works good every day.
it builds enough boost pressure,
Yeah.
exhaust pressure. But if that tube's easy to remove, then you want to take it off and just
Yeah.
hand spin it and then it'll be okay.
Yeah.
But it's probably got a bearing issue or
Heat
something,
shrink wires,
bearing going up.
Something,
red relays.
Is there any juice going up to the plug on the outside? So it's from the truck to that plug?
to the truck, we're not getting power to that little control inside either, nothing. Usually when we plug it up to the truck, it has that little switch, lift the plow to attach it,
Right there.
not getting nothing there.
Almost everything.
As far as that electrical,
We checked every fuse, we checked all those things, man.
where he hooks up to the main relay to begin with, is there juice up to that relay?
There's juice to those, yeah. Just not from, we're not getting juice from there to the inside of the truck
Outside?
and the outside.
And that should have a wire going directly to the battery too.
Yeah, exactly. To that main battery or a cable come to that, to the solenoid and all that stuff.
And there's power too.
Yeah, we got power to that, to the solenoid.
And on the other side of the cylinder?
It's showing all power, just not power to the out and the inside of the truck.
So what's your call?
Well, I mean, just reading that, it's talking about everything everybody's talking about right here, you know? And there's obviously some electrical problems going on. It went in bad, they had to redo it all, it's talking about it.
That something wasn't done correctly.
Yeah,
Seems
before,
like
it
it.
says right there, where does it talk about it?
They worked on the electrical when they went in?
Yeah, it says,
Oh, so it's something they did for sure.
Yeah, they.
well, it's, okay, so not necessarily, connections good, inspected harness found wiring rubbed through near the battery box causing an open circuit. Performed temporary repair, found ECM will still not communicate. ECM relay and IDM relay both have power. They rechecked all fuses, found 2 fuses in the cab PDC blown, for interior lighting at power source, and they checked key switch power at the ECM and IDM and found 0 volts with the key on. With the key on at the ECM and IDM key switch power. They traced the wiring back, checked connectors, found fuses for ignition power was incorrectly installed. They put the fuses in the correct location and it was able to communicate with the computer. And engine started up. They submitted a P&A on 12/7 of 18 and received that they received from another tech. They removed and replaced fuses and relays, heat shrank all the butt connectors, and loomed and tied and wrapped all hanging wires. Removed and replaced the left rear wheel seal. It's talking about everything that we're talking about. It went in with a bunch of problems, but did they fix them, correct them, or were they just able to read them? You know what I mean?
Well, I'm sure, I mean, it sounds like they probably tested everything that they had access to at the time. I mean, they tested it, it worked, everything turned on, but if they would've had the plow, they would've realized that it didn't actually work with the plow, you know what I'm saying? But there's still kind of everything in there that was not.
Read that, and that's kind of what they did to your truck. That gives you a synopsis of what they did.
Since they know some of those fuses, yeah,
And they recommended turbo.
not going to
What's that then?
to the switch,
I mean, they
they
could be
could read one
liable.
of those that actually give power to the controls on the plow.
Yeah, cause we never had trouble with the plow or anything.
They
at
never
all,
said
man.
that they would do anything, you know, they just.
And we came to hook it up, we couldn't even use the switch to hook the plow to the truck or anything that day. We didn't have no power to our switch, on the
That's what they
outside.
do is I'd call and tell them that.
So did
Yeah.
2 different
Well,
shops
you gotta call
recommend
and say, hey,
turbo?
what's up with this guy?
the
We've had
plow was-
problems with his plow before.
Yeah.
The last time you used
Turbo's
this plow
working
was
right
last
now.
winter,
Yeah,
what little
It's just
dusty
that
we got last
electrical
year.
part of that.
and now we even hooked it up just to make, even to move it from there to outside, yeah, that way it worked. We dropped it off, everything worked, we capped all the things that go to it to make sure it
How
don't
much
get
is
dirty.
a dump truck? I'm just curious.
Then we had to hook it up and it didn't wanna work.
I'd rather just fix it so it's be done with it, so we're not messing with it again next year.
Yeah,
But what are we fixing? There's more to it than just the bucket too, it seems like. That's all I'm saying.
Well, he's saying the turbo and the, I'm assuming you're saying the turbo
Well, yeah.
and the electrical. Well, I don't know, I kinda almost think that the electrical would fall under, some kind of like warranty or
That's what I
something, they would,
was
you know what I mean, that it
thinking.
would be included in the original, I would think.
I bet you since they moved fuses, because it was, you know, they say that they moved some fuses, those probably were giving power to the controller for the plow. But who knows which ones they moved?
But when you guys take it in, I would take the plow for sure,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I doubt they're gonna be able to test it with that.
Yeah.
If they have a crane over there, just put it in the back of the truck and they can crane it out.
but you probably could do it the way Richard said.
Yeah, we try to do it first,
Said
like that.
to-
Release the pressure.
To do it.
Lift it and put the whole back on.
Cause they may not wanna connect it over there,
Yeah.
even if they do have a
Yes.
train.
We might come back
Even if
with
they
it.
do
Or if they, I'm sure they will, but just out of price.
Yes,
That's the first thing I do is call, tell them, hey, my truck went to you, the plow was working. I mean, now guys, we had this snow, the truck went on, it's not working.
Yeah.
It's the first thing I do.
Yeah, I agree with that. We should check into that one first of all.
Before we even take anything.
Yeah.
So, are we doing the turbo right now, or what are we doing on that?
In my opinion, if it's working for right now, I'd say wait, but, cause I'm thinking about the weather, you know.
Yeah.
and the
We'll
turbo
call first thing in the morning tomorrow,
won't go
and
out,
check on
if
the
they have
warranty
to
and
push
check
snow.
what they could do about that.
It won't,
Even if I have to get on there and, you know, tell them that that's not right. Because everything that they touch would have an effect on the plow, so I think that's what it is. With the turbo though,
I think we approve it and then we can just call and see when they can do it, if they can get it in within a day, awesome, I mean, to get it in and out. I think it's all gonna be based on that call.
Yeah.
okay, what if there's a cost for the plow fixing? What if it's not covered under warranty, what if it's not? What if they're like, no, we didn't even touch nothing that wasn't
But it's
there?
under the,
yeah, that's what I was thinking, under his a lot.
Well, we can approve the money, I mean, cause if we're gonna need it, we're gonna need it, but we should check into some stuff first instead of just throwing money at these dudes every time we don't have it.
And are they the only ones that we deal with, or?
That one time we had dealt with Kelly's, remember Kelly's?
Oh, and after you?
Yeah. Remember exactly what the name was, but it was
Yeah.
Kelly's.
Something like that.
Who do you take it to?
Right now we're taking it to Summit Trucking.
I'll put that up, I'll put that.
And I feel that if we're putting all this money into it, and it seems like it's just sitting there, and even if they're having to move it around, go around the block,
Yeah.
it needs to be moved, not just sit there in a covered porch out there.
That's what we used to do.
It needs to be moved because it looks like it's being there. And he might remember that. I used to always say, why are you using just the orange truck to go get gravel? We just bought you a brand new white one. It was the same thing. I feel that if we're gonna put all this money, that truck needs to be moved, even if they're not doing a job with it,
Does the orange one still work?
Yeah.
just go around the block, around the city
Exercise.
limits.
It's an orange dump truck?
Yeah.
Does that connect to the plow? No?
No.
How old's the older one? The yellow orange one?
What years are it? Like 80 something?
Like 66,
Yeah.
maybe somewhere there.
We used to use that one to
It's as old as
hold.
me. Wow. Well, that's interesting. You guys as well? All I need is a motion.
well, I make a motion to take the truck back in, to fix the turbo and to check into the electrical portion as well. And, you know, pretty much call them and check and see how quick they can get it in and out.
Alright.
I second that motion.
All right, approval by Adrian, a motion by Adrian, a second by Juanita, to approve the, quote for 340477 for the repair of the turbo and also to check on the electrical wiring for the plow. Roll call, Richard?
For.
Adrian? Four. Juanita?
Four.
Ernie?
Four.
Okay. We shall. Approval, representative for Sunset Valley Solid Waste Board. We accepted letters of interest for consideration of representing the town of Mount Air on the Sunset Valley Solid Waste Board. We received 3 letters. I'm gonna read them. Jason Quintana, who's here tonight, would like to submit my letter of interest for town of Mount Air representative to the East Sunset Valley Solid Waste Board. I have 27 years' experience on waste management, 25 of those with the New Mexico DOT, and 2 years as a member of the Sunset Valley Solid Waste Authority, where he served as our representative. He's currently the vice chair of the Sunset Valley Solid Waste Authority, and he would like to continue to represent the town and all Torrance County residents. We have the second one by Chester. It says, Dear Council and Town of Mount Air, I'm writing to inform you that I would like to serve as Town of Mount Air's representative on the Sunset Valley Solid Waste Board. And then we have George Imawar, who's here today. He said, Dear Town Council, I, George Imawar, would like to be considered for appointment as a representative for the Sunset Valley Solid Waste Authority. As a Mount Air resident using the services, my interest is in making sure the positive service offered to the Sunset Valley residents is continued. Thank you for being considered. So those were the 3 that submitted. And the reason that I put this out was just because it's been 2 years. We try to do that every 2 years, or at least I try to, or I plan to. Same thing with P and Z, with the board. If they're on there for 2 years, just kind of bring them back up, see if they're still interested, see if anyone else is interested, and kind of just like, I just don't want it just be like, if they're there, and we're not gonna ever change that, you know what I mean? I want to kind of think so. That's the reason for the, bringing this up. Do you have any comments, concerns, questions for those here? Anything else?
You're on the board now,
Yes.
and if you didn't get this, that wouldn't kick you off the board, right? You still.
Yes.
No, you would, yeah, this is the board appointment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then it would also, they would have to.
I always think we had a double whammy. I think that's what I was thinking. We had you there, and then even if this part didn't get filled, it'd be another guy from us. Oh,
No, so the board, so
That's
the
what
board
I was
of, the board of directors for the Estancia Valley Solid Waste are representatives from Encino, Moriarty, Estancia, Torrance County itself, Mount Air. So Mount Air has 2 representatives. I served as one, and then he was serving as our other. So, Estancia, for instance, they have their mayor and a town council. Moriarty has their mayor and someone from Estancia. So it's not really like, you just approve whoever you want to really approve. We could get someone from Encino to represent us if we want to. But we have 2, and then his position, I'm just leaving that just because, well, I just recently acquired it, as you guys know. I took Chester's position on that. And now I'm putting up here just because he's been there for 2 years as a representative. Before him was Joe Ellis, is that right?
No.
No, who was it?
Because Joseph Ellis was.
No, he wanted to do it, yeah.
He did.
It was, who was it?
Because Joseph Ellis worked for ISFA before that.
Do you recall, George? Do you recall who was with Chester on that board before Jason?
With which board?
On the Sunset Valley Solid Waste Board, do you recall who was with Chester before Jason came on?
No, I do not know.
Yeah, I have no idea. I can't recall.
So to answer Ernie's question, if I vacate, it also means that it opens up vice chair on ISFA. So they would have to put somebody, they'd have to vote somebody else in.
We just voted the chair in there too.
That would be voted
The chair resigned, the new chair, which is the mayor of Encino.
Yeah, yes.
Encino?
Bond.
Bond, the mayor of Bond is the chair.
You asked for a comment, nothing against Jason, but I feel if they're representing Mount Air, I believe that it should be a female or a male that's from Mount Air. You're working, it's for Mount Air, it's a representative from Mount Air.
And I guess to answer that question, I mean, we're all tied together when it's all around there.
Yes, but I
My
know,
kids go to school here, do a lot of business here, that type of stuff. But it's up to you guys.
that's how I feel. I think it should be somebody from out here.
So who picks it?
Or we do.
They just submitted to me.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it was a vote or he just had to vote on himself.
Yeah, so let's explain, I guess, a little more about these funds about solid waste. So basically, we meet, we're provided as board members, how we're going, just like, it's almost like a town council, but it's just a bigger board. We're provided how revenues are looking, how expenditures are looking. Right now, the two big things are the hiring of a manager, because right now they don't have a manager. Joseph Ellis is the interim. He used to run it, up until, about 3-4 years ago, and then they got
Yeah.
the new guy. Now he's gone, he resigns. Another thing that they're dealing with right now is the new cell. So right now, if you go right outside of Moriarty, right, there's the cell there, and what they do is that's where they take all the garbage. And they're, compacting it and everything, well, they're building the new cell. So we make the decisions on that, we will award the contracts to who's doing that. I mean, it's a pretty important board. And we meet once a month, the third Thursday, usually,
Yes.
second or third Thursday of the month. I just get the call from them. And once a month, and that's it, and we go, and Willard has a representative on there, Estancia, Moriarty, Vaughn, Mount Air,
And see,
and Torrance County has 3 reps on that, right?
3, yes, Lawrence County has 3.
So it's a pretty big board, I mean, there's a lot to it.
The hard
12
part,
to 15 people.
the hard part about it is that because of all the stuff that Peter's talking about that is going on, every time we get turnover, it's like starting everybody brand new again, so it's kind of, that's the big issue, because we have so much going on, and we have, like I said, sales going on, and then we have to go through a lot of budget issues, they got pretty rough for a while.
Any more questions?
George, you got anything to say? You got anything to say?
Well, it's, the thing is that, I'm interested in seeing the things run smoothly as they are. They run very, very well, I think. And I had considerable experience in Albuquerque with trash. And as a couple of you guys on the board know, I had considerable experience out here with trash. And my experience out here was much better than the experience, from a user standpoint, than my experience in Albuquerque. And I like to see the good stuff keep going, and it has been going along pretty well. And that's the reason that I showed interest in being on the board in the first place, because we have got it good, believe me. If you're doing stuff in Albuquerque where you generate a fair amount of trash, it's gonna cost you some bucks and a lot of inconvenience, whereas here, it's a snap. I mean, to go down to the transfer station or to any one of them, it's so good here that I think a good many of us don't know how good we have it. And I like to see that continue. And that's my reasoning for putting it to be on there. Any questions?
No.
I actually like to make a motion that we keep Jason Quintana, being that it seems like everything is running smooth, and I know it changes when different members start coming here and there, everything gets like, but I'd make a motion, we keep him for the representative, for the ESVSWA board.
Second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by Richard to keep Jason on there, a second by Adrian. Roll call, Richard.
Or,
Adrian.
Or,
Juanita.
No,
Ernie.
or,
Motion passes.
that's a 2-year commitment again, right?
Yes.
The real quick, a question. Before I used to report it every town council meeting, I mean, it's really up to you guys how you wanna do that. I just wanna make sure that cause I don't mind coming.
No,
I
because
just
if
don't
anything
know.
big happens, I'm here, so.
Okay, I just wanna make sure, and just let you guys know that the town and everybody's interest is always what we're trying to keep going.
Anything significant?
Oh, approval of two trucks. Moving on, approval of purchase of public works trucks. This is the approval of two trucks for our public works department. We have three quotes ranging from 28,277 to 31,291.
Don't call out over more, huh? Call out over more. How these two trucks gonna get paid again? What is it gonna come out of then?
Yes. Cool. Well, I mean, I guess that's up to you guys. That was our plan, but that is up to you.
With these two new trucks, we assigned to the, I guess, the supervisor and the foreman.
So I'm the extended cab is cheaper. So so just for everyone, we're looking at 2019 Chevy Silverado, 1500 4x4, and a 2019 Chevy Colorado extended cab 4x4. So the extended cab for the Colorado 4x4 is actually a bit more, but it does have more. It has Bluetooth and remote keyless entry, things like that. 31,291 is the price on that. Whereas the Silverados, there's two of them. They're both the exact same year and make model. The difference is the extended cab. One's an extended cab, one is not. The extended cab is actually cheaper. It looks like 28,277, where the regular cab is 28,844. So it's only a difference of like $500, $600. Well, regardless, there is that difference. Do you prefer an extended cab or a regular cab?
No, I'll extend it, yeah.
To me, it just makes sense. It's the cheapest one. But I mean, it's a 2019 Chevy Silverado. It's a nice, it's a good vehicle. 4x4, which is what we need. And it comes with the spray-in bed liner. It has a V8 engine. Has the in-bed chest toolbox already installed, the trailer package, and the tow package. So I mean, these are pretty nice trucks. So the total amount of both, excluding taxes and all that kind of stuff, I don't think so. 56,554. And again, that's up to you guys, but I assume you have plenty of gas, you buy them and,
Which two are you talking about buying? Which two? You wanted that
no,
extended?
not two, we would buy two of the same one, so we're not
Okay,
buying
okay.
two separate ones, yeah. This is just, page 2, the second page,
Right.
the one for 28,277, we would purchase two of those.
Okay.
Do you guys have a preference on color? Is there a preference? Do they just come?
I didn't ask.
I'm assuming that they're gonna come white or black or something plain, they're not gonna do us like that. think, white is okay,
I
or
think white, the
I'll
other
take
two
pink.
are white.
not, pink? Pink?
White or red, yeah.
I don't know. I think they should be different than the law enforcement. Because we're all gonna go black with yours, right?
Yeah, our schemes are black and white.
Yeah, get them all white.
Yeah, 'cause we already have white. Well, except for the room one.
We can do white, and then if you ever wanted to get a magnet or something done for the side of it, it'd stick right out, you know?
It's easy to keep clean too,
Yeah.
or it doesn't look as dirty.
What do you think about that, as far as the trucks go?
As long as they're 4 all that, because the only 4x4 we have is that red one right now.
They're both, they're 4x4, that one's a thin cab. This one looks like it's not, and it's less, it's more money. It's
I
more-
know, that doesn't make sense to me, but.
The automatics or,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And these are gonna be put into, they're gonna be put into, we're gonna keep track of everything, oil changes, everything. And we're gonna drive these, not like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, these have to be, they have to last us. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
you know, I don't want them just like, you know, I don't want anyone going, you know.
But, you guys ever got new trucks? I don't think you guys ever did, huh?
Just those Rangers now.
Oh, what is
Oh, they
that?
were in brand new?
Yeah. They're 09. The only major thing was the clutch maybe on one of them. We had them from brand new.
So this is gonna leave us with 2 new trucks, the maroon, which was just repaired, so that should be good for a while.
Yeah.
And then a small white one.
We have the 2 Rangers, yeah.
Oh, we had 2 Rangers.
2 Rangers,
Yeah,
the red one, and the 2 new ones we
But I
get.
thought we were selling one of them.
That's Edward's
No,
truck.
that's a different one.
That's way, we don't use that one.
One of the five trucks.
Well, if we get these 2 new ones, we'll park the red one, because that's what we use for our pipeline.
So why do you guys still travel in pairs? You don't?
We don't, we take it
Oh,
home.
okay. Sorry.
So the maroon one we'll park, leave it for the pipeline and all that stuff, for that use only. Cause it's pretty rough out there.
Well, I mean, we plan to go back to 5, so that would be,
Okay then.
are we agreeing on the extended cab Chevy Silverado?
we're keeping the Rangers,
Yeah.
both of them? I was just thinking, because we didn't even look at.
See,
the
my
trade-
worry-
the trade, you know?
My thing is not worried over the summer, but over the winter, whoever's on call, if they have a Ranger, they're gonna have to use one of these bigger ones.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they'll have to use that.
That's what we're doing now, sharing the red one now.
Yeah,
Whoever's on call, has to go to the wells, gets muddy, the Ranger won't make it out there.
right. So,
That's not
but,
hard,
yeah,
you know,
I mean,
well,
over the summer it's not a problem.
Yes.
Somebody's gonna give up their truck for the week, no big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but right now, I mean, we need to keep records on that, and we need to have a binder in there and put any oil
Everything.
change, everything, I wanna keep records.
Sound good? Do you guys have a PM sheet? that you
Yeah,
use? Oh,
exactly.
because if not, I have some from the state. that we
Yeah, we fill in our books.
You know how I'm stickler about our vehicles being marked? Since
Yeah.
we're buying this one, in the meantime, by the time the fleet comes in, before they drive out, they need to be marked.
Yeah, like you said, maybe a magnet or something for 'em, or something, you know?
To
Yeah,
say
maybe
that they're
we
a
can,
town
look
amount
at
there.
some-
Yeah.
Because it's less expensive.
Maybe we can look at something,
Mhm.
cause it's gonna be really plain, I mean, I don't want it,
The chief's already looking into it, so.
What's
We'll
that?
throw nothing, something else on his plate.
If you wanna mark, however scheme you decide, I mean, they're gonna come white, so that's a good thing. We can take the trucks to the same place we're taking ours for graphics and have them design something that these guys want. You want the emblem on there for the town, or you want something
I
different?
want something cool.
And then they can do the graphics.
I really do. Like, I hate, like, right now, they just say Mountain Utility, like, in plain, like,
Department,
I mean, it
yeah.
looks like you put a stencil and
Yeah.
spray painted it. That's just ugly. Like, look at the co-op. The co-op has nice ones. Salinas, they, you know, they have a little logo and it says, you know, Salinas or whatever, like, I don't know, just something that, like, really shows us.
You don't like the magazines from the school?
I don't, that's what, yeah, that's our emblem, that's what we're
All you
talking
have to do is put it on the door, you know?
Yeah, I'm not talking like huge, I'm not talking, you know, I'm not talking a little Mustang on the end or nothing.
Oh, last thing, not gonna go on the car?
No, no, no. But, I am talking like,
Mustang Square.
just something, you know, that our logo. Something, just something. That one. Mount Air Public Works, counter, public works. Simple. And then we really need to mark those. We really need to mark them on the back, like, you know, public works 1, public works 2, public works 3, public works 4. That way we're aware of, like, you know, what's happening with it.
Yeah, you can put on those type of vehicles, since I've noticed you guys on the highway,
You
they
know,
have the blinkers on, they don't got any lights. They need to put some lights to the rears of those vehicles, like amber lights to the front, and they have to have the red and the blues to the back. Because when they're off on the side of the road, they have to be identifiable, that people think that they're emergency vehicles, because they actually are. And then you put the chevrons that are reflective, so the graphics that we can get these guys
We
hooked
bought
up on.
we bought the amber.
on the top.
We got the
Yeah.
ambers on the top.
Yeah, well, we got some extra light bars that would fit this type of vehicle, and all we have to do is just change the front and take off the blues and make those ambers, and then leave the red and blues to the back. Why buy the other equipment when we already have that equipment? And I have extra control boxes, brand new, that I've been finding as I'm going along doing my inventory. So we can save a lot of money outfitting that by taking our own equipment, saying, install it, we just pay the installation, graphics, done.
Where are we on the radio purchase?
The radios are being configured right now, they're programmed. Yeah, they got everything, the FedEx, we sent a FedEx, I contacted my vendor, and right now they're putting all the frequencies and everything, so we're good on that.
Okay. So 56,554 plus tax.
No tax.
Oh, no tax.
This is statewide price.
But any other fees like title?
We'll hook you up, bro.
Registration.
Over here, our
Us.
counties,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
us.
Shouldn't, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't cost anything. I think the town's free.
What is-
I think, but don't quote me.
Yeah, and those are better than we got 2 full-size trucks there, cheaper than the Colorado, which is a smaller truck. I think you did a good deal. There.
One thing I noticed is both of these trucks are identical, but if you look at the price of the motor, one says $13.95 and the other says $11.95, so that might be a typo on the part of the Malloy Dodge.
Because it's the same exact motor.
Yes, everything should be exact same. Same with the 635, 630, 661 for the toolbox.
Even if it's a typo, it's in print.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, this one, they follow the statewide contract, so even this print, they would set to honor the contract that the state has.
Did you say Dodge? Are they Chevys or Dodge?
It's Chevys.
Oh,
I say Malloy Dodge, but it's really Malloy everything now.
Oh.
They sell all three.
Ford,
Oh, do they?
Ram, Chrysler, Jeep.
You know,
Chevy.
three are there.
So if we purchase them, how long would it take to receive them?
That, we have to, I mean,
Right.
we have to, yeah. I don't know.
After what?
So I would assume it's gonna be like the trucks. I mean, the trucks, remember when we first bought the one truck from the thing, they had to like get it in and like all that kind of stuff. It's not something like, we don't just go and say like, oh, I want that one. Like, you know what I mean?
But it is in most loops, so it's not like what I would be.
So I'm assuming they'll call us in a couple weeks and say they're here.
That fleet guy might even have them, though. Maybe.
Yeah, they might. I mean, they might.
should.
I'm not saying that they wouldn't, but
I think I'm not sure 100%, but maybe the state already approved of a certain number, and so they got them in stock somewhere in their house or something.
so, do I have a motion?
I make a motion to buy 2 2019 Chevrolet Silverados 1500 extended cabs 4x4s with a total price of $56,554, correct?
Correct.
I say that.
I have a motion by Adrian to approve the purchase of the 2 public works trucks. A second by Ernie. Roll call, Richard.
4.
Adrian.
For
Juanita. Ernie.
4.
Approval of resolution 2019-1, budgetary adjustment resolution.
Okay, yeah, this is a budgetary adjustment. I thought I may have, or may or not have put the email in there. It's just the state DFA kind of, like they're going to their new system, they kind of screwed up. And they opened up this thing called trust and agency line item, and I use it because that's what we call our meters. When you do a meter deposit, that's not our money, we're storing it for you guys. So in real estate, we always put that in a trust account.
And that's what the town does. So all these monies was in a trust account, and they told me it cannot be in the trust, an agency on the DFA side. So by this month, by the end of this month, we had to do a bar to take it out. So my options were to, for the revenues, decrease the other trust and agency receivables of $5,000 and split it up, $2,500 in water enterprise and called private other, and then $2,500 in gas utilities, private other. And then for expenditures, it's the same thing, except rather than being a payable for $5,000, it'll be the water utility, equipment and machinery by $2,500 increase, and the gas utility, equipment and machinery increased by $2,500. So it's just basically changing, taking it from one line item and splitting it up into two other line items for both water and gas.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2019-01.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Adrian, a second by Richard to approve resolution 2019-01. Roll call, Richard.
4.
Adrian.
4.
Juanita.
4.
Ernie.
4.
Okay, item number 13, approval of disciplinary action of a public works employee, and option number 14, approval of to hire a new certified police officer. Well, actually, we've got to do one at a time, sorry. So, approval of disciplinary action of public works employee, that is going to executive session, so if we can move on to the line.
I make a motion that we table, line 13 until after the executive session.
A second.
Ernie, Richard. All right, I have a motion by Juanita, a second by Richard to table item number 13 until after executive. Roll call, Richard.
4.
Adrian. 4. Juanita. 4. Ernie. 4. Okay, tabling of number 14, approval to hire a new certified police officer. That, again, is going to be.
So make that we table that.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Juanita, a second by Richard to table item number 14 until after executive. Roll call, Richard.
4.
Adrian. 4. Juanita. 4. Ernie. 4. All right, police department.
Good evening, everybody, Mr. Mayor, council members. Good to see everybody again after the storm. I hope you all survived. So we got some stats for the period of 12/22 to 1/4. MPD officers responded to one call for a D&E, took a report of 4 reported parties. Officers conducted several traffic stops and gave 0 citations. We gave warnings. This was during the winter storm, so we were just trying to keep everybody moving on during the storm. No alarms this time, which is a good thing. We responded to a total of calls during that time period. It was over 25 calls for service. That involved welfare checks that are called in by other agencies, CYFD, families trying to check on their loved ones. So we kept responding to those calls as well. We had a possible CSP case, which is a criminal sexual penetration case. Reports were taken and those cases are under investigation at this time. In addition, we've been receiving some verbal threat calls, which can be numerous things. Somebody tells you something you don't like, they don't like you, and they want to report it. That's what verbal threats are, pretty much. 3 domestics, no arrest reports were taken, no injuries, and that was due because, correction, 1 domestic. That was due because they just wanted to report their ex violating some type of agreement. And there's usually, that's a civil thing actually, but we still have to document it. We took 3 crash reports due to the weather conditions. People just didn't get the memo. They were not supposed to drive, and they were out there. We did, responded to 1 suspicious person call. By the time we got there, they were gone. And we also did a welfare check as part of our emergency plan that I enacted, and we went around town checking on all the senior citizens that we knew that might need some assistance and they couldn't get out of their driveways or stuff like that, so we located them and made sure that they were okay. And that worked out pretty well, everybody was secure. We had a lot of medical calls during that period. General sickness, and one person had to be transported by Superior to the local hospital for further follow-up. Wrecker, yeah, there was some crashes that we had to call Wrecker and tow some vehicles because they slid off and it just couldn't be recovered. Our ACO responded to 3 dog calls and we transferred those 3 dogs. They now belong to the Humane Society and they're up for adoption. So we took those dogs to Albuquerque. The administrative side of the house, as I stated, our new radios are being completed and programmed by our vendor, and all documentation has been approved, so we're waiting on those to be programmed, so the fire, our department, and public works will now have their communication. So that was a long, very long process, but it was required. You have to be very specific in that. Our units that we got, our MPD units, we have them in the final graphic design and installation process, so they should be ready anytime. So when you see them floating around, that is our brand new units that we've been waiting for. We did pick up the 2 Dodge Chargers from the town of Bernalillo. We have one here. We already stripped it down, so that's the next one that's going to get the graphics put on. We conducted an oral interview for 1 certified officer, which was completed by the oral board committee. And at the last minute, we had like 3 certified officers. 1 certified officer withdrew his application at the last minute. The 2nd officer failed to respond to an email that was addressed to him explaining benefits and so forth, so we assumed that he was not interested anymore. Well, waiting 2 weeks, we kind of figured that was enough time. So we took him out of the process and we proceeded with the final selection individual that's gonna be up for approval tonight. Our ACO basic certification course, that was supposed to be a week-long course here. And due to the number of people that only responded, if we would've gotten 10 individuals, our ACO would've gone to this course for free. Unfortunately, it did not happen. We're only getting 6, so the class is still on, but what they did, to save everybody money and time from work, they condensed a 5-day course into 2 days. So these guys are gonna be busy. And that's a national certification course, so that's still coming to town, and the course is gonna be still here. So that's a good thing for us. Because of the extreme weather conditions that happened to our community, at the time that it started, on 12/28 to 12/30, I enacted an emergency operations plan for the Monterey Police Department, which in fact took myself and the other officers and put ourselves on call 24/7, and we responded. We were actually here during the whole storm. I stood at the Turner Inn, that was an interesting place, and another officer, so therefore when the call out was given, we cannot and could not depend on TCSO or state police, we responded. And it was it was the most busiest 3 days that I had in a long time. But the good thing about it, we did not spend 1 penny on overtime. Because the officers, what I did is I adjusted their time, so therefore when they would finish their shift, if in fact we were still on duty when we got called out, it was part of the shift. And anything over that, then we went from there. The emergency plan is something that that we have to have at all times to deal with situations like this. I spoke to the mayor about it and Dennis, and we're gonna initiate my plan into a town plan so we can expand, so when situations like this happen again, we are prepared. We were ahead of the game before anybody else in our community, around and surrounding communities, by enacting and having the salt center available for travelers that got stranded, or if the electricity went down here, or water, we had a place to take the community and strangers and provide them shelter. And that was part of our plan, so we had that ready to go. And place to sleep, shower if you had to, and so forth. Alpine Valley Cafe, since they're firefighters, we got together with the firefighters, and it was 4 of them and 3 of us. And that was your emergency crew for that period. And they did come out. It was a good, worked out very good. And it brought everybody together, so we were able to respond to what we needed to do. And it didn't really cost that much money, so we saved a lot of money. What I want to do is I want to take this opportunity to thank my officers for their work during this weather condition, and also the fire department. And a shout out goes out to these guys, Public Works, because they were out there in their tractors helping us pull people out of the highway. We tried trying to get that rig, it just didn't happen. We had a semi truck that jackknife, and we were trying to get that going, it just didn't happen. And I'd like to thank Mayor Nieto for his efforts for being a voluntary honorary Public Works employee. He was out there with his flashlight working and trying to clear all this. It was really bad. We got an estimate from the National Atmospheric people of the NOAA. We got over about almost close to 2.5 feet of snow here. Aside from all the other communities, Estancia didn't get hit that hard, Moriarty, I mean, they had ice, but not like what we had. I mean, we only had 2 4-wheel drive vehicles in operation for my department, and that's what got us around. That was the only way. Those roads were so thick that we couldn't even get out of town when that storm hit. So we took care of business for the community, and I want to thank everybody for their support and their help, because we got a lot of help that day. So there were some things that were not included in your printout, because I just got information. We are working right now with BNSF police on getting us cross-commission as agents with them, because they have given us a letter of authorization where we can go onto BNS property and enforce the criminal trespass, because we have a lot of calls regarding people going on the tracks, trying to do crazy things. And it's usually the SO or us or state police that can respond. But since we're here and we do have a facility here, BNSF has extended that authorization where we can actually go on and make arrests on their property, and it's legal. Trying to work out another deal with them where they might pay part-time for our officers to patrol their property, but that would be off-duty on our part, and we would reimburse the town. But they're looking into that. This has been sent to their headquarters in San Bernardino, California for approval. All the first responder corps, we are gonna team up with the fire department, and I'm gonna have all the officers become first responders to assist the fire and the EMS. That is coming down the tubes on that one, because we have found due to our EMS problems that our community was suffering because there was no ambulance service to transport. So to alleviate that, since we're always there for the police service calls, why not make us responders to assist the fire department people? And I think that's gonna be a really good thing for us to do. And let's see, I think that will cover that. And I think that's it. That's what we've been doing. Any questions on anything, of any of what we've been doing?
Had I spoke to you guys about the dedication of the police station? Did we talk about that last meeting or no?
No.
Okay.
We talked about it.
Oh, yeah.
How we were.
So the dedication, we're trying to shoot to have everything done with the police station for May 4th. May 7th is when we lost Steve Sandlin in 1988. So that Saturday before May 7th is the day that we're shooting for, to have the grand opening, the dedication, and everything to the Steve Sandlin Memorial Police Department. So, it's a Saturday, mark that in your calendars if you can. But I really, 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 really would love every single council member and the community itself
What's the date again?
to come in drones for that, because, we will have, the mother and father as well as the son, we're gonna send out so that they can make the trip, May 4th, Saturday.
I'll do a press
And-
release.
Yeah, we should, yes. And so right now, what we've done, the inside's getting done, it's almost done. Right now, we're installing the last little bit of camera equipment, then we're gonna put up the roof, or I'm sorry, the ceiling panels. I'm gonna be going in to do the camera system, to make sure all the cameras are set up and everything's going. Once that gets up, then we're good as far as that. Is that a door or like a someone's on my wall? Oh, and then, what else? Oh, and then the outside. So then, our next stop is the outside. So we're gonna totally repaint the outside, take off all those lights, fixtures that are there, that are kind of pointless. And we will put a new sign. So we're looking into lettering, things like that. So May 4th. And you guys put your calendar. Everybody there. Donna and my aunt are gonna be cooking, and Michelle are gonna be making cookies for the whole entire community.
I'll start since now.
But no, that's our date, so. I think that's it for PD. Unless you guys have questions.
I just wanted, it's like the, on the sexual assault registry, do they notify you when somebody leaves in prison and they have to be registered?
Yes, the sheriff's department is in charge by law of all sexual offender registries. So when an individual comes into the county, they're supposed to register with the sheriffs. If they fail to do that, then we can actually, kind of arrest them and take them back into custody. But they do notify us and let us know that we have a sex offender in the neighborhood and where they're gonna be at. That's part of their initiative on the sexual, they have to. If we find out that there is a sexual offender here and he has not, or he or she has not registered, then we contact the sheriff's department, advise them of that fact, and then they send a deputy out and they force these people to do it. Because they're all under court orders or some type of probation or parole situation. So, yeah, they have to let us know. That you don't want to have sexual offenders living close to the schools and then not know about it. You can also go use the DPS website for sexual offenders, and they will, and it's not, I think it's not 100% accurate because they forget to update it. So the best way is if you think that you might be next to a sexual offender, contact us, let us know, we'll run that person's name, and when we run them, it'll make a hit on the computer system saying that this person is a registered sex offender. And then we can take action from there.
Perfect. Any other questions? Thank you, sir. Public Works?
Evening, council and mayor. Beginning date is Friday, December 14th, ending date Friday, December 28th. Friday the 12th, the 14th, check service calls. Edward was on call that week. And we worked on potholes and hauled 2 loads of dirt on Gran Correa Estates entrance, on Highway 55 and 7th Street. And we have Monday, the 12th, 17th, and Vincent was on call that whole week. And we worked on wheeler number 2, putting the valve back together, and Vince and David worked on sewer trouble on Main Street. Tuesday, the 12th, the 18th, David checked service calls, and we, like I said, Vince went on, checked the wells, and we read meters. Wednesday, 12/19, checked service calls, read meters, and me and Richard went and worked on wheeler number 2, that is working good, still. Thursday, 12/20, checked service calls. Me and Vince worked on sewer trouble with Third and Main Street, and Edward finishes his meters. Friday, 12/21, David was off, checked calls, checked on sewer plant, worked on potholes, cleaned up shop. Then Monday the 24th, Tuesday the 25th, no work, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, came back on Wednesday, I took over on standby. Checked on service calls, checked on sewer, on Cedar and Corbett, service John Deere, backhoe. Thursday, 12/27, checked on service calls. Me and David serviced equipment, getting ready for the storm. Edward and Vince went out to pick up dump truck, also took lawn samples and picked up chlorine. Friday, the 12/28, we opened South Street all day from 6:30 to 4:30, and that was David's final day.
I have to commend these guys, I mean, they've been battling water leaks for the past 3 weeks, and it's, that first time, man, I was there and I was freezing my butt off, and you guys were in water, I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
even imagine,
It was cold.
I cannot even imagine, so,
Props to
I
my
mean,
workers.
yeah.
I mean,
It's
they-
warmer in the water.
is it?
Just don't get out.
I was actually warmer in the water. I was actually warmer in the water than I did.
Yes, I said, yeah. Yeah, the night before last, I know that these guys worked till
Yes.
9:30 without a lunch break and everything else, so you give it up for these guys, they
Yeah, they've been
kick
doing
butt.
great work, and,
Only 3 of them too, yeah, how many pipes broke there in that little area?
Well, the one by the shaker, we had like 3 there.
Just in that little area, alone,
You know.
yeah, that's,
and that further explains how bad our pipes are, I mean, they're really bad, and it also, you know, I was there the first night when I was going around with everybody to turn off the valves and stuff, we really need to put more valves, I mean, that has to be a top priority, because, right now, it's, you know, where the valves are, you can shut off 2, but you're still getting a little bit of water from, you know, from this other pipe over here, and we just have to have it where we can shut off 2 or 3 valves and be done, and no water is going to that leak. Because they would get the work done in probably double the time if there wasn't always water spewing out of these leaks, I mean,
Not to mention, to relieve the pressure while you're working in it, you have to open up all these fire hydrants.
right,
Thousands and thousands and thousands of gallons just going down the street.
yeah.
That's
not,
hurts.
we need
Hurts
to,
bad.
yeah, we really need to, and, I'm hoping to hire 2 more employees beginning of February. Once we get back to 5, we really need, that needs to be one of our top focuses, is doing that. Getting those, looking at a map, you know, we can sit down, determine where our key spots are, where we need to put valves. And another thing that we need to do is we really need to start going to those valves
Clean them out.
and cleaning them out. Because that was one night, man, they were just trying to break off the dirt on top of the valve, and it was not a good night, so.
Do you guys, are you going to the legislature for any, the beginning of the session, cause this, from what I understand, this is the money session, so if there's something that you guys need, this would be the time to put it together and.
Didn't Houston Bohannon put up a map where they
Yes.
wanna put new valves and all that?
GPS. Yeah, we have all that, yeah.
They didn't really tell us where we should put the map, the
Right,
valves.
they just had them where they're at. But I mean, you could look at a map and kind of see, you know, where some of these pipes are like, kind of like this, and you
That
know,
was a spaghetti over there.
Yeah.
Schaefer, with 4 or 5 going in all different directions.
Big
Literally
one.
coiled out inside there, it was all copper.
That's my ear.
Did you meet with Baker, the utility, about the
Yeah.
prices?
They said they're gonna send me prices and all that stuff, and we have to call a different company to see, do hot taps and all that for the valves, till they get back to me, he said,
Alright.
so, getting all that done, so.
So we're putting a big order together as far as if we get more leaks and valves
Yeah.
or.
I already called Baker, ordered more stuff, just in case. 'Cause we're kinda running down on some guard temps and all that, so I got those ordered, just in case, so.
We got that other pump, is that ordered already or
Uh,
just that drafting pump, cause that thing don't work very good.
Oh, no.
oh, we
yeah,
haven't ordered one, but so after that first night that I went and I was there, and I saw everything, I'm like, oh yeah, we need a lot of stuff, I mean, just stuff. And so, we'll look at it, we'll talk, I'll talk to Daniel,
Alright.
and we'll put together a big order, cause they really need, they need another pump, yes. And they need, I mean, gas can, they didn't have a gas can.
Yeah.
I'm all running to get the gas can, by the time I came back, the thing was full again, I'm like, God dang it. It was just a mess, so, but, things like that, we'll get all that stuff.
And you say you go and, check on the wells.
Yeah.
Do you do that, one time or?
We do it twice a day, once in the morning, and we have to go reset. We go during like 3 o'clock, 3:30, make sure we have plenty of water. So if we have to go add, we go add. If we don't, we check our wells, make sure they're on and all that.
So you go to the,
You go to
Cooper
each.
and Willard?
Yes, ma'am.
And we got a quote, right, for something that can possibly monitor it from here.
Yes.
So we're looking at that, we need to see what it exactly it entails and how much it is. But prepare, if it works out, we will bring that to council to vote on. But they'll be able to monitor it from here and kind of see what's going on. So that way they don't have to just go out there to look and then say everything's good. It's like they just know, so they're not go out there. That should hopefully that's, you know.
So what
Also-
are the times that you go?
We go from 8:30 and we go at 3:30. And we just make sure our pumps are on, test them, make sure we have the time set. And if we have to readjust, we go during 3:30. Pump the water if we need it. Depends on the day, the weather, we need to add, take off. We don't want to overflow or anything.
Today Fred Black with Rural Water came in, he's our wastewater man, and in fact, he worked with water too, he's water certified, he pulled samples. I was chatting with him, and we have a notice of non-compliance in terms of our discharge permit. We've had it since April. Well, our the New Mexico Environment Department's been chill with it, just kind of putting that aside, because we've been working with Bohannon Houston for its PER. Well, we were talking about it today, and the reason why we're non-compliant is because we need a third monitoring well. And it doesn't have to be like a big monitoring well, it could be a little tiny 2-inch one, something really cheap. But we have to have a third one, because we're supposed to be pulling samples from 3, not just 2. And the other one's a flow meter. So Fred's gonna actually go back, take a look at the system and all that, take a look at PER, and find the appropriate place to put this flow meter. He'll probably talk to Bohannon Houston as well, because whenever we start building a treatment plant, we don't want them to dig up this brand new flow meter. We want to make sure it's in the right place, and we're gonna have to put power to it. So that's probably gonna be the biggest expense right there is the power. We gotta run electricity, but again, he's looking into all that stuff first. And he just came in at 3 o'clock today?
Yeah.
No, 4 o'clock. Right before lunch.
They don't have anything in solar that you could use?
They do, but people, we were kind of looking into that about a year ago, and the big problem with that is people steal the batteries, people steal the solar panels.
I hate to do this, but could you raise your hand?
Oh, sorry. I just,
Yeah, but they do, but the problem, the issues with that.
Any other questions? Thank you. EMS and fire. Philip used to always come, unfortunately he got moved to a different area and he's not doing this, BNSF, so that's why he hasn't been coming, but let me update you a little bit on EMS. So EMS, as you know, we ended up having 5 total, people that resigned their positions. And I will tell you their names. It is Sam Blacksher, Wanda Solinger, Gail Jones, Wayne Jones, and Mary Hewitt. They all resigned their positions, those 5. So, in the meantime, what we've been doing is we've been trying to, I appointed Carol Glade as our interim EMS director. She's been a rock star yet. I mean, she's been doing amazing things. She's been calling Ann Martinez up at the EMS fund. She's been making sure everything's going great. I reached out to AMR because there was one particular call. So the issue with Mountain Air is not answering a lot of EMS calls right now. And the issue with that is not so much that we're unavailable fully. We are basically, you need to have 2 EMS people on one call, okay? So when you have one and a driver and you're missing that second one, you can't go on the call. So that really sucks. Well, I just sent yesterday, a variance, request to PRC. They should grant that to us. If they grant that to us, that means only one EMS is required. And they're allowing us to do that in the interim until we beef up our EMS service. So if they approve that, then we'll be good, because we do, we only have 4 total right now. We have 3 EMTBs and an EMTI, which the EMTI is actually one that can only volunteer once per week. The other 3 are our 3 main. So if we could get one of them to respond to the calls, then we're good, or you know what I mean, or take turns or whatever. But, we should know about that variance here within the next 2 weeks. Usually they get those and just kind of approve those, and just, so we'll know on that. I signed a mutual aid agreement with AMR. So on one of the particular calls, EMS in Mountain Air was unavailable, they called out for Superior, Superior was unavailable, they ended up sending Estancia ambulance to a call. So Estancia responded to one of our calls here in Mountain Air, which is kind of, it is what it is, but it's not the greatest thing in the world. So I contacted AMR. AMR is ready and willing to work with us no matter what. So they sent us a mutual aid agreement. Basically what happens is, if Superior is unavailable, dispatch will call out AMR. That should be settled this week. So we need the final, we're getting dispatch on board, they're already okay with it. AMR's okay with it, we have to get them communicating so that way dispatch knows who to radio out, which they will radio out of Valencia. They will radio to Valencia, and then Valencia will radio out AMR to Mount Air, if they're available. So that should prevent anything from not, from us having to call Estancia or anywhere else, which we're grateful for Estancia. I'm not saying that we don't want, we don't appreciate that, but it's just, they have their own worries over there. AMR is interested in, they're coming down in 2 weeks on a Friday, and they're gonna speak with me, Carol, the fire chief from the Torrance County, and Vincent Zamora on how we can further our relationship. There's a possibility that they may want to, in essence, somewhat take over our EMS service. And basically, whenever a call is called out and Mountain Air responds, then they get paid by AMR as employees. So we haven't discussed the total dynamics of that, if it's gonna cost the town more. I think what it's gonna basically not cost the town, but basically they would take over our billing, which is, we're not making a lot of billing, so it's not like we're losing out a lot. In fact, up until a year ago, we weren't billing at all. So it's not like we're, it's something that if they can take it over, they can pay, they can, supply the training. And there was even talk of possibly even bringing an AMS ambulance here, which would be like the greatest thing in the history of the world, but, again, that's all preliminary, and we gotta see how that goes. So, just giving you an update on that. An AMR mutual aid agreement was signed, they're meeting with us, and we're asked for a variance from PRC. Any other questions?
How does that work, Peter? Like if somebody's, they're volunteer EMT or something, they get paid if they're called out?
Yeah, they get paid
Not
hourly,
full-time?
yeah, they get paid hourly by AMR.
So they don't have full-time positions? It's just-
No.
Okay.
Yeah, they would not be full-time. So basically what would happen is AMR's paying them from the moment they get to the ambulance barn, pick up an ambulance, go to the person, get them, and then we would have to take them to the Y. So the other AMR, so basically, they're paying us just to, meet them halfway, basically. Right. But they're getting full payment, where, it helps them, it helps us, and it really, at this point, I could really care less if we're making any little bit in there, as long as people are getting saved. That's my,
Providing.
that's my thing. So. Any questions on EMS?
We haven't had no volunteers come to you?
We've had a couple, two so far that have, that want to start. We're gonna be doing the training on that soon. We'll schedule a training in Moriarty. Mayor Ted Hart has been absolutely amazing. He's been helping us. We got the county involved, so they've been helping us. And so, I really wish I shouldn't say that, but I really wish the county would help us out. If we can secure AMR and it costs us a little bit more money, I really hope that Torrance County would step up. Because it's not gonna help Mountain Air only, it's gonna help Willard, it's gonna help any towns to the south. it's gonna help. So Torrance County should be very involved in that and very willing to help out. So let's just hope that they are. We have 2 new commissioners. I hear stuff's already flying at the county. They replaced or they did not renew the contract of the county manager. They are installing Wayne
Johnson.
Wayne Johnson.
Yeah.
Who is the auditor that Suzanne Martinez put in that served for a year, possibly, a little around a year, until Brian Colon won. So, he will be coming down to serve as the Torrance County manager. I hear it's like walking on eggshells over there, but it is what it is. All right. Financial administration.
Relatively slow compared to the rest of the year, but there's always things to be done, City Hall, Town Hall. So only the noteworthy thing worth mentioning is that we had safety inspections. Our fire extinguishers were tested on December 20th, and then I've had our crew, our maintenance and our public works supervisor, as well as Chief Reyes, do in-house inspections, JHAs, of the and inspections of the facilities and vehicles. Safety classes, we had two safety classes this past Friday. It was primarily for the PD. It was workman's comp for employees and emergency preparedness. And then finally, the Tyler transition's been working. That's probably been most of my time devoted to the Tyler transition. We're kind of ramping up. They're working on the billing side of things, and now we're working on the finance and the employee modules. So, and I believe that, yeah, there's gonna be a finance training session for me the day after tomorrow. And then our MVD, we've had 37 driver's license and CDLs issued. Registrations include estimated 163, and total title with registrations is 43. And just kind of put things in context, from 2011 to 2018, our motor vehicles brought in $1,651,000, $1,651,085.17. That's a lot of money, but we only get a chicken scratch of that, so that's the state's making most of the money. But it's great, it's a great service that we have here.
I have a small request to make, and I apologize, and I know that Adrian can get pissed, but can we move the auction to February 2nd? I didn't advertise very well, I didn't do nothing, I've been stressing over.
Well, we snowed in.
Yeah, we're snowing in. I applied for a new job, I got it today. I'm the new business manager of Mount Airy Public Schools. I'm really excited. So, I've been stressing over that, and I just have not.
And the snow really held us back.
We were gonna postpone it 2 weeks, but in 2 weeks, I'm gone. So I won't be here that day, so we can do it it's in 3 weeks, February 2nd. Don't yell at me.
Colvin Connell was ready to do the auction.
Oh, it was?
Yeah,
I
he had
apologize.
just texted me. But, too bad, so sad.
Will we be able to
Yes.
do on the February
I
2nd?
had a question in reference to the
That's
auction.
none.
We had the skunk mobile has met its days. So, rather to put more money into it on Chris, we talked to Chris about it. I wanna put that up for auction, just get rid of it
And that's
because
the green truck?
the green truck, the skunk mobile we call it.
And,
It's met its days, it served well.
so, should we, put that on the next agenda?
The differential on it was leaking, and there's just so many other things that we couldn't even use it because we had to use the 4x4, that Ford Explorer. That's what Milton was driving, and I was driving the other 4x4. And the ACO was gonna try to use that 4x4 to help us out. He couldn't even get it out of his house, because the differential locked. So he had to kinda actually tow it out, and we brought it back, so now it's at the yard. And it's just gonna cost too much money, I don't wanna use that money to fix it, let's just sell it, see what we get. Yeah, it's not gonna work. It's been around for a long time.
You guys okay to have that?
I wanted it like 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
The town bought it.
When's the auction, February what?
That's
Second.
And, for that green truck, what are we starting bid at?
What year is that?
97.
Is it 97?
I wanna say 97. Might be a 98.
I would say 1,500. As is.
I was gonna say, do the highest bidder, well, it's,
It would still meet the reserve.
Some thousand.
Yeah, the
some-
dump after truck. Yeah, that's
One of them $5.
Man, that's been
This is different.
worn out.
That one? Okay,
Well, here's the other thing, like, if nobody bites at 1,000, could we lower it? down?
yes, absolutely.
We'll take it. You can't say that, then everybody else will be waiting on the rest of the vehicle.
No, because if they really want it, no, if they really want it, they're gonna pay each other, you know? All right, that was what, financial?
Yeah.
All right, public input, does anyone have any? Yes.
I'd like to add my recognition and appreciation to especially the Public Works guys, because I happen to live right at where they were working for hours, I don't know, and most of the time, the public doesn't get to see these guys going at it in the cold and the wind, and moving efficiently and getting the job done, and I think, and also our police for the work that they did during the storm and all that. I wanted to just mention one less favorable thing, which a lot of you know that I go out to the airport a lot. I'm almost, if I'm not checking on the little plane, I'm feeding the birds or running with the dogs or something. But because of that, the day after the storm, I couldn't get out of my driveway. The birds had to go hungry, you know. I was shoveling out my walk. So the second day after the storm, I tried towards the end of the afternoon to get out there and feed the birds. And then I found out that the road, Amble, was only open to Eddie's house. So I come on back. 3-4 days later, the road was still not clear. And at that time, I'm thinking, darn, I can't feed the birds. Then it occurred to me that if you had to have a helipad landing to evacuate somebody, we were exposed all over the place. Because you could have the EMTs put into the ambulance, run out there, and you couldn't drive into the heliport to meet the helicopter. Whether the helicopter could land someplace else or not, I don't know. But I feel that the town was exposed very much 4 or 5 days later. I don't know when you had that one evacuation, but it wasn't right then because I couldn't get out there to my hangar. So I'm hoping that if it was lack of resources or just an oversight or whatever, I think, Dennis, you're the airport manager, there ought to be an SOP. That thing should be open all the time. Because if I was out there shoveling, and I remember Dr. Ramo on the TV said something about we have more heart attacks at this time of year because old men like me get out there and try to shovel snow and they don't know when to stop. And that's when you need to get evacuated. When something like that happens, I would hope that you can put an SOP or some kind of a priority on that Amble Road to be able to get out there. And not only to have the road cleared of snows all the way at least to the heliport. You know, I'm not going to fly anyway in that cold, but at least to the heliport where the ambulance could get to the helicopter. But also that gate. Last time I was out there, the gate wasn't working right. So I think we have to pay more attention to both the road access and to the gate and anything else that might happen, like vandalism. Right now, it's not that the gate won't open, it won't close. I don't know, that invites people to go out there and do donuts, not right now, but as soon as it gets muddy, and that'll be in the next couple of days, there's gonna be somebody out there putting their brand on that runway. So I thank you guys again, I think it's great, just a matter of whether it was an oversight or whether it was lack of resources, I think we need to emphasize that one, that's all I got.
Yeah, it actually was an oversight on my part. I didn't cross my mind. Something did cross my mind though the last couple of weeks. I really would like to have some kind of camera out there. I don't know how we're gonna wire it up. I don't know, we might have to tap into where the gate goes. But if we could have some kind of camera system out there where we can monitor, like we do town hall or the other places, we can look at the conditions of the gate, we can see if it's open or closed, and then we can respond accordingly.
Plus you can watch who comes in and goes out, then you know who might be doing the
Goes in
donuts.
and goes out, because if there's vandals out there, we gotta record it. I don't know how we're gonna do it, something we gotta think about
That's a
that.
tough one, yeah.
I know we got power to it.
Not really.
But it's a matter of.
A little game camera, we used to have one out there.
Well,
Yeah, but he wants to look at it live, like he
Oh.
wants to look
Yeah,
at
I
it
wanna
and
be able
say,
to, like, if it's
you
snowing, I
know,
wanna
the
be able to
game
pull it
camera's
up.
gonna help with the
Yeah,
vandals,
that's a
for
little
sure.
tougher, that's tougher.
Yeah.
But, you know,
I mean, it's not so much the power, it's the internet, because
Right.
we gotta beam it to the internet, so that's the big problem.
anyone else?
One of the things I wanted to bring up was, I don't know if we ever can or not, it's just bringing it up, I'm not making a motion, nothing. But if we could ever afford to get a little tractor, even if it's like a lawnmower style tractor, to have a plow for the smaller jobs that we do. Some of that snow was pretty bad that we got this last time, right? Iced over pretty fast, and it just became hard. And if we can ever get a little tractor or something like that with a little plow, make these smaller jobs like our libraries and our city halls and all these little areas a little easier, more efficient, get things done quicker. I think we better look into that. We better look into looking that, you know?
We do have a little tiny lawn tractor, I just don't know if it's heavy enough to push snow.
Or, and if not, then look into something a little heavier,
Yeah,
maybe.
stuff.
you know?
ideally, we need a Bobcat. Skid
If we had something like that, then the little jobs like would be way more efficient and quicker, just better access. Somebody almost fell in front of the library and they were complaining, so I thought, oh, okay, then I'll bring that up. Cause I'm glad that Mr. Dimas brought up the airport, because it reminded me.
Yeah, and
About something like that, you know?
And one of the things too, that, the public works cannot totally scrape the road like the state highway does. We have, we have the water meter covers, that stuff in the middle, the manholes, they're just, and if we were to scrape totally, the roads would be 20,000 times worse than what they are right now, and, you know what I mean? So, it's hard, and, they have to leave that little 2 to 3 inches of snow. And unfortunately, that's what freezes up and turns into ice, so, it's tough, it's a tough situation. But
I'm just talking more about like when we do, like our libraries and other places like that, like our sidewalks and stuff like that. But just as a suggestion to bring up.
I had a question, council. I got a lot of calls during that storm of community residents asking when the P&W was gonna go out and clear the snow off their driveways. I told them, they're busy. These guys were working it, just trying to clear the main roads for our safety and all that. So these guys, I pretty much, so if you get any complaints, it's on me.
No, and you know what we need to do, and actually, like, there's a lot of people, Steve Sanchez, Larry Zamora, there's a lot of these guys that have the resources, and they go out, man. I mean, I know Larry Zamora went to like Tilly Brummel's and did all her yard. They and in most cases they do it for free. They're doing it because they're having fun. They're having a blast. I would love one because I would have a blast, but I don't. But they're having fun. So if we can have those resources, maybe online, maybe if we can call them and get their permission. And that way, whenever that does happen, you can say, you know what, Public Works is busy, and we don't do that, number one, we don't do that.
Right.
But, go to our website, pull up this and look and see who you can call and see. if
So
they
they
can
would
do
be
it.
like vendors on their own and
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah, and like I said, most of them, they were not charging. I mean, they were going up, I was leaving my house and Steve Sanchez came right up, grabbed it, took it back and hit up the road, and I was like, boom, right out. So, but there are people like Isaiah Camacho. Isaiah Camacho was actually shoveling people's, elderly people's, sidewalks. He was asking for payment, which is fine, I mean, hey, extra cash. But, if we can have that on there, I mean, I'm sure he wasn't the only one, but if we had a place where we could send them, which would be our website, and say, look, go here, we really need to beef up that website with all these services that are provided, so that way, people know.
But I feel that it shouldn't be just the website, it's a good idea, but they should carry. a
Yeah,
handout.
absolutely. Yeah, they can like print a sheet and have a sheet with them that says, here's a list of numbers.
You know,
Also,
because
so-
the elderly people, you go on the website, they,
Right,
Yeah.
that is true.
Or
That is very
Esperanza
true.
could have that sheet and give them the names and numbers, because I know we got a lot of calls that day too, those days.
And Mr. Dimas, you need to be careful, because that's some scary stuff.
Because what?
That's some scary stuff.
Well, I could have a helicopter.
That's what he almost said. Heart attacks are pretty, rest her soul, Velta Gilly, that's what happened to Velta Gilly. She was snowing. She was out.
Oh, yeah.
She-
And I heard that they called me and they said, Meme, you need to stay inside the house. We don't need to find you in a pile of snow like they did Mrs. Gilly.
That's
And
the scary
adding to
stuff.
that, I want to publicly thank my nephew and my nieces. They kept me warm all that time because they would go out there and make sure that I had the wood that I needed. And, you know, plowing my driveway, Michelle and Juan, they went out there and that's when.
Juan was another
I was
one.
just a supervisor.
Sorry, I didn't mention Juan. Juan was another one out there, yes. Juan was out there.
And she was
There
shoveling.
There's quite a few that were out there. and
She was shoveling snow and I said, you know what,
Mr. Von Kutzleben.
no heart attack here.
Ted was out there.
Ted was out there.
Phil was out there.
Phil Garcia was out
Phil was
there.
out
Yes.
there.
Pacheco, Albert Pacheco? Albert Pacheco was
And
out there.
Scott.
Scott, Childers was out there. There was a lot of people out there, so, and I think most of them do it for free. And my wood pile went down, I did deliver wood to a lot of people. We delivered care packages, so some lady in Louisiana ended up donating $335, which we still have $94 of. Samantha Solinger went up, bought all kinds of bread, crackers, and we were delivering water and all kinds of stuff to people. So
Nice.
that Toyota's paying off.
And we don't have a place where we could store like canned goods.
No, but we probably should have something like that. And like I was telling you earlier before the meeting, I have the names of people that I helped, and Samantha has her names, and we're gonna put together a list. So that way we can even go to the police department, so they can go and check on these people, because I'm worried about the ones that are living alone, the elderly that are living alone, that, I don't know, people have this fear of dialing 911, unless it's a real emergency, and I don't understand it, but I've seen that multiple times where they're just like, I don't wanna call it, So,
I drove myself.
Now that you mentioned about the wood and stuff, I know that almost every year, and Adrian could probably say, they always have what do they call it, we're in the mountains where they cut down the wood and they leave it out there for people to come and cut it and stuff like that.
Again,
We're talking about one of the soil conservation?
Is it soil conservation that's doing it? Whoever's doing it, I was just wondering if it was, even if we all get together and cut some of that, do you guys have a place that maybe we could put it for those people who are in a situation like this, that if you do run out of your personal, you can go over there and get some, or have somebody help you
I
do it.
know St. Vincent was doing it.
Yeah, we did it with a youth group when I was a kid.
Are they still collecting wood?
I don't think they did it this year, because they used to put it here at Father's,
Yeah.
and they didn't.
The Salinas Park has been doing, the wood, but now that they closed, I mean, they're planning to do another big, truckload, $40 per pickup truck. And that was at Quarai, but you can't get in there.
right. Yeah, and the ones that I was doing, it wasn't really like for sale. I mean, I wasn't selling it, and it wasn't really like I wasn't giving people tons of wood. I mean, I was just giving them like 10 to 12 pieces just to keep them over until the end of the storm. So,
And
I mean,
that's-
having that would be perfect, and then we can like go to these people and kind of see.
And just give it to them if there's, even if you bundle it or something.
I haven't had a request from Albuquerque. I'm like, I'm not going to Albuquerque. That's a weird request. All right. Anything else? All right, so we go to the executive.
Anything you need? Anything you need? What do you think of? Now that you guys have been all of a sudden hit hard, what you can think of, you guys?
More help.
More help, yeah.
I know we got the PD plan down at Public Works.
But nothing you can think of tools wise or?
We're all good, too wide and all that. Since.
Some nice pair of overalls would be nice.
Oh, yeah.
What about wetsuits? Do you think you guys benefit from wetsuits?
Even wetsuits to get in there, overalls to just wear around town so we can stay warm. Wetsuit for to get in the hole, but other than that, we can't wear a wetsuit under this.
You wear your waders?
What's that?
Did you wear your waders the other day or not?
Yeah, I wore my waders. That was the first time when that first leak in front of Demon's house.
I couldn't even watch football knowing you guys were out there working like that. I had to go out and watch.
I felt guilty cheering every time
Yeah.
they were doing it. Oh, sorry guys.
put it on record.
Alright, go into executive.
I make a motion, go to executive.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Richard, a second by Ernie to go into executive session. Roll call, Richard.
Or
Adrian. Four. Ernie.
Four.
As per motion, a roll call vote pursuant to New Mexico State Statute 10-15-1. The following matters will be discussed in closed session. Limited personnel matters regarding the demotion of a public works employee. Limited personal matters regarding the hiring of a certified police officer. And we are in executive.